Hey folks, welcome back to Green Iron TV. As we start to work on the M38a1 some more after the Memorial Day parade. Even though the Jeep ran flawless in the Memorial Day parade, this week we took it out for a little drive. We had a nice little drive and we developed a problem. So we made a little mess in the Jeep, so we're going to get that cleaned up and try and solve what the problem is. So that's going to be this episode of Green Iron TV. And like always, if you like content on the Army vehicles, please give us a like, leave a comment, and please hit that subscribe button. We appreciate all you viewers, and we want you to be able to follow along with us. So hit that subscribe button, and we'll keep the content flowing on Green Iron TV. Okay, so while we went on a nice long drive the other day, when we got back, we noticed some oil drippage. And when we looked, well, it was actually dripping through the firewall down the passenger side on the inside. And so when we got back home and lifted the hood, we have quite a coating of oil all over the side of the motor, firewall. And so upon looking at things, there seems to be a small drip from the fitting on the bottom of the oil filter. And of course that is right behind the fan. So that small drip, as the fan was blowing against it, was just blowing it all the way back all over the side of the motor and the side of the firewall. Wasn't a big drip by any means, but it's just a small enough drip that as we were driving and the engine was hot, it was just pushing that back and coating everything on this side. So, one of the first things we're going to do is get this around over to the hose there, get it all washed up. We'll use some Simple Clean or get it all sprayed on there, get it hosed off, cleaned up. And then we'll go in and then we're going to tackle trying to get this fitting down on the bottom tightened up. I imagine it's just probably a little bit of a loose fitting, but we'll tackle that once we get it cleaned up enough to not coat ourselves in oil to get down and work on it. So that's what we're going to try and accomplish next here. And as we can see, we just coated all over the firewall, all over the distributor, and all around through here. And what caused us to notice it was the fact that the oil started dripping through the firewall and running down here on the passenger side. So that was our first clue that we had a little bit of an oil leak going on. So we'll get this cleaned up and see if it's a problem with that fitting, and hopefully get it tightened up. Okay, we're going to start with some Super Clean. This stuff works really good for cleaning up oily messes. So we're going to start. We're going to get this all wetted down, hosed out, cleaned up, and so that's our first step in getting this mess cleaned up. So. All right, well, that looks pretty good. That's the joy of a sealed 24-volt military system. Doesn't hurt to hose everything down because it is all sealed and waterproof. So the Super Clean did an excellent job taking that oil off and getting this cleaned up in here. So we're going to get this cleaned up around back in the garage, and then we'll check out this oil canister, and hopefully it's just a loose fitting. We can get it tightened up. So let's try that. Okay, so we appear to be leaking at the fitting right here. And it's not a big leak, it's just a drip at a time. But with that fan pushing all that air, it sprays it everywhere. So we're gonna see if we can put just a little tightening on that. See if that helps take care of it. So we'll see. We'll fire up the Jeep, maybe take it on a long drive here, and double check, make sure that that has tightened it up enough to stop that little leak. Well, that obviously didn't fix it because we're right back to where we were. So it definitely seems to be coming off the bottom of the oil filter canister. So I'm probably going to have to go ahead and drain it and take the whole canister off. And it's liable to be the other fitting that it's leaking out of. So we'll have some fun with this, I guess. Okay, we've gone ahead, pulled the filter. We're going to start taking the lines loose, drain this, and get the oil filter housing off, and give it a good check over on the bench to see exactly where it's leaking from. Hopefully it is that other fitting. We can get that to seal up. Hopefully this thing doesn't have a crack or something along the bottom. We'll find that out when we get it apart, but right now, the fun part of making a mess of draining the oil out of it. Wish there was a little bit easier way to do that without making a gigantic freaking mess all over the place, but nope. So it's the way it is. Get this bottom line off. Okay, now with the bottom line off, we'll loosen the pinch bolts, see if we can get this canister up and out. this would go a lot easier if it wasn't over top of a hot radiator. Yeah. All right, we've got the canister off, and hopefully our leak was just here at the nipple fitting here on the bottom. So one of the things we're going to want to do is we're going to mark the direction so that when we put this back together, we do have it in the correct direction. And then we're going to make sure we get this thing make sure that's what's sealed up good and not leaking on. So that's where we're at. Okay, what we found after we got this nipple off, there is no thread sealant on this anywhere. So hopefully that was what was causing our oiling drip issue. So we'll put some thread sealant on it, get that back in there, and hopefully that will resolve our issues. All right, now we did mark this. We do want to make sure we get this all the way around to where our markings were. All right, that puts us back to where we had it marked. And we should be nice and sealed. Hopefully. Now the fun part, getting this thing back in here. I didn't film a lot of it coming off because sometimes you just don't feel like it. It's a greasy mess. And it's in a bit of a booger of a situation to get at. You can't get really any tools at it easily. So I probably won't film much of bolting this back in either, just because it's a pain and you got to move all over the place, and I don't feel like tripping over the camera or having you people watch the back of my head as I've been into it all the time. So we'll probably just get this in here, and we'll show you the aftermath. Okay, we got the canister all back on, and that was a pain. But while doing that, we discovered that on the steel line here on the bottom, that when we went to tighten it up, the flare was cracked and cracked off. So we had to basically, once we had it all on there, we had to go ahead, take it all off, so we had enough room to get the flaring tool down in there and put a new flare, square it off, and put a new flare on. Hopefully that's what was our leak problem, that the flare had a crack in it and was letting that oil seep past it. So we've got it all back together now. We're going to go ahead and fill the filter back up with some oil and get the Jeep topped off, get it running, and hopefully, fingers crossed, greasy fingers crossed, that takes care of our little oil drip. Okay, we're going to pour some oil into the housing to fill that housing back up. All right. Alright, we can then put our oil cap back on. Alright. Now we'll start the Jeep up, see if we got any drips. Okay, after letting the Jeep run for a minute, we are all nice and dry along the bottom of the filter and our oil lines here. So I think that has it. So now we'll go back, we'll wash this out again and use some super clean, clean that all up, and then we'll take it for a test ride again. Hopefully that keeps it sealed. Okay, this is what we like to see after coming back from our test drive. Everything is nice and dry. There's no oil sprayed everywhere. So now all we got to do is get down in here and give it a good clean, good detail. Bottom of the filter housing nice and dry. No oil on my hands. That's what we like. All right, guys. What looks to be always the simplest projects always turn into the longest and hardest. But with that said, we have that oil filter housing now all sealed properly. It's not dripping oil. Letting the fans spray it all back against the firewall. Like I said, in the end, it turned out to be a crack on the steel fitting on the line, right at the barb, or at the flare. It was cracked, and once I had it all back together and tightened that back on, that then showed itself as having a crack in there. So luckily, it wasn't too big of a pain to pull everything back off. I had just done it, so I was well rehearsed in it. Square that line up, put a new flare on it, and get it resealed in there. I didn't film a lot of doing that work just because it was in an awkward position. It's hot today. I was frustrated, and we probably let a few words fly that probably didn't need to be on a YouTube channel. But all in all, we got it done. You know, the big reason, the big push, to get this sealed back up and ready, is because this upcoming week, next weekend, we do have another big parade. So up here we have the National Asparagus Festival, and it is the largest parade in our county. And so we're gearing up as many of the trucks as we can to take it into the parade. And once again, the local veterans from the VFW and will be riding in the vehicles. So we want to get them all cleaned back up and running proper. That way we can make this, it is a big long parade. And we will be filming that for the next episode. So that is what's going to be coming up on the next episode. But in the meantime, thanks for watching this. Like I said, this was supposed to be a simple little thing that turned into an all-day project. I was going to work on the wiring harness for the radio, since I have those pieces in now, along with that cable I bought at Finley Show. I was going to tackle that, but we just didn't get to that. So we'll have to save that for a future episode here on Green Iron TV as we keep working through. So in the meantime, if you can, please give us a like, leave a comment, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so that you can enjoy all our Green Iron madness. Like always, we appreciate all of you, so keep viewing. We'll keep getting after it and trying to make stuff happen. So thanks a lot, and you folks have a great day.